Non-duality is not an attainment. Of all the things I have to teach about non-duality, this is probably the most important one because this is the number one thing that keeps you from understanding what the non-dual state is, from understanding what enlightenment is. And I always like to say, if you had even the slightest idea of what non-duality is, you'd be it, because it's that obvious. Stepping into the just completely obvious is not an attainment. The idea of enlightenment as this fabulous attainment has enslaved huge populations of people. So it's a very dangerous idea to be thinking about too. Hierarchy itself is very dangerous for human beings because it's dangerous for both people. It's dangerous for the people who manage to get themselves up, and it's dangerous for the people down below who honor these fabulous beings that we create. We create the idea that somebody is better than us. And then all broken psychology is based on that, because any sort of hierarchy has the higher and the lower, and so you constantly have the feeling of not being good enough if you have any, if you've fallen for this idea of better than. So getting rid of this one idea is probably the most valuable thing you can do on your spiritual search. I like to make jokes about it because it's really the very best way. Humor is the total equalizer, right? So I like to be snarky about Buddha. In fact, I wrote a book about Buddha, retelling the story of Buddha, that retells him as having made a big mistake in the way he taught and in some of his basic concepts about things. Because Buddha came from a society that was completely embedded in hierarchy. And he came from the top of the hierarchy, right? So it was totally reasonable that he would see his own enlightenment as an attainment, even though he kind of talks about that it wasn't. But it's so hard to get away from the psychopathy of hierarchy once we're in it. So enlightenment is not an attainment. If you want to give it any sort of quality inside the hierarchy, enlightenment is the exact opposite of attainment. It's like giving up. It's like complete failure. When you reach that moment of complete failure of trying to become something other than you are, then that is enlightenment, and that's no attainment, right? Non-duality, enlightenment, is not an attainment. It's the exact opposite of it.